Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 21 of our Immigration Fridays. I'm Farhana. So, for those who don't know me already, I'm a caseworker at Tulia. Good morning, everyone. And for those who are new here, I'll start off by speaking a little bit about Tulia. So, what we do is we provide support and advice to migrants on their journey towards being settled. This involves expert legal advice, practical training programs, and community support, such as counselling, well-being, and accommodation support. And for more information, you can visit our website, and I can pop the link for you right here. So yes, if you do want to visit our website to find out a bit more about our services, you can do. So I'll leave that on for you here. And today we're going to be discussing student visas. So as you know, September and October intakes are just around the corner. So I'll explain a little bit about what you need in order to apply, the advantages and the prospects for success. So before we start, I just wanted to let you know that this is not legal advice. It's simply guidance based on the requirements that are accessible on the government website. So if you are in any doubt or if you do need further assistance, you can always look on the government website. We do always recommend that you seek legal advice in order to receive the best possible information that's tailored to your circumstances. So student visas, they've been around for quite a while now. They are very popular and a lot of people have been looking to apply for student visas. We've had an influx of inquiries about them recently, and we thought we'd do a live just to explain a little bit about what's required. And today we're going to be mainly focusing on those who are aged 16 and over. So you can apply for student visas to study in the UK. And what you usually need in order to apply is you must have been offered a place on a course by a licensed student sponsor, which means a valid university or course provider. And you must have enough money to support yourself and pay for the course. So the amount does actually vary based on your actual circumstances. And an important requirement is that you must be able to speak, read, write, and understand English in order to be able to study in the UK on a student visa. So I'm not sure if you already know, this visa has actually replaced the Tier 4 general student visa. So for EU nationals and relatives, the requirements are slightly different. So if you or your family are from the EU, Switzerland, Norway, Iceland or Liechtenstein, you and your family probably have started living in the UK by the 31st of December 2020, you might be able to apply free to the EU settlement scheme. And the deadline to apply for that was the 30th of June 2021, but you can still apply if you have a later deadline. For example, if you're joining family members in the UK, or if you've had reasonable grounds for being unable to apply by the 30th of June, for example, for reasons such as illness, or if you was a victim of domestic abuse. So now I'll go into discussing the student visas. So with student visas, the earliest that you can apply is 6 months before the start of your course. And you usually do get a decision on your visa within 3 weeks, and that's if you're outside of the UK. So today, I will be focusing on those predominantly who are outside of the UK and those who are aged 16 and over, because there is quite a lot to cover for this alone. And the duration of the stay for student visas, it does depend on the length of your course and what study that you've already completed in the UK, if you have. So if you're 18 or over and your course is at degree level, you can usually stay in the UK for up to 5 years. And if your course is below degree level, this means that you can stay usually up to about 2 years. So you can usually arrive before your course starts. For those who have courses that are for a duration of about 6 months or less, you can arrive about a week before. And for those who have courses that last for 6 months or more, then you can apply to arrive, and you can arrive about a month before if your course is accepted. If you do have any questions, do feel free to pop it into the chat box, and myself or one of my colleagues will be more than happy to assist you. And hopefully we can respond to you. Alternatively, what you can do is you can email us, and our website is available, but you can also email us on info@tulia.org.uk, and I've left the link for you below. Right, so the costs. For student visas in itself, they do cost about £363 to apply for a student visa from outside of the UK. Now, this is just the cost for the actual student visa alone. And you also have to pay a health surcharge as part of your application. Now, how much you pay does depend on how long your visa actually lasts for. And whilst you do study in the UK, if you have been accepted, you can't claim public funds, such as benefits and pensions. You can't work in certain jobs, such as professional sportsmen or sports coaches. You can't be self-employed or form your own business, and you can't study at an academy or a local authority-funded school known as a maintained school. And a very important one is to remember that you must not work more than your stated visa conditions, which is usually no more than 20 hours during term time. And the requirements are usually that you must have an unconditional offer of a course with a licensed student sponsor. And to prove this, the education provider usually sends a reference number to you. And this is known as a CAS, or a confirmation of acceptance for studies, once they've offered you the place on the course. And this CAS is very important. So we recommend that you do keep hold of that reference number, because you will need this to apply for your visa. And usually you can do one or more of the following courses. So you can do a full-time course that leads to a qualification that's below degree level. You can also do a full-time course leading to a qualification that is degree level. You can also do a full-time course that's degree level or above. And you can do, and that's being delivered as part of a longer course overseas, or you can do a part-time course that leads to a qualification that's above degree level, or a recognized foundation program for postgraduate doctors and dentists. Now, in order to apply, you do need an English language course of at least a level B2 or above. And the money that you need to pay for your course, you need to show that you can actually fund your course for up to 9 months. And the amount that you need to pay will usually be on your it will be on your CAS. So we do recommend that you check that. Hi Rumbi, hi, hope you're well. And the amount that you need to pay does depend on where you're studying as well. So you'll usually need about £1,334 a month for up to 9 months for courses that are in London. And you'll need £1,023 per month for up to 9 months courses that are outside of London. Hi Machada, hi, I hope you're well. And with the money, you need to ensure that that's in your account for at least 28 consecutive days. So for British nationals overseas, for nationals of Canada, Australia, Poland, and Switzerland, you don't usually need to prove that you've got the funds in your account, because the requirements vary slightly for those. So we do recommend that you do seek professional advice for this, just to avoid and limit the chances of your visa being refused. Now, you can prove your knowledge of English by passing a secure English language test, which is known as a SALT, and that's from an approved provider. And we do recommend you look at the government website for the list of approved providers, because they are quite specific on what they need and what they want. And you might have had a GCSE, an A level, a Scottish national qualification, for example, at level 4 or 5, a Scottish higher or advanced higher in English, that's been gained through a study at a UK school that you began with when you was under the age of 18. And if you're a national of a majority English speaking country, you do not need to prove the English language test. For example, nationals of Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, and these are just the ones that I'm just mentioning off the top of my head. There is a specific list of people who are from a majority English speaking country, so you don't always need the English language requirement for that. And the list is on the government website, so you can access that. Alternatively, if you are in doubt, I do recommend that you ask us, and we'll be more than happy to assist. Right, so the documents that you usually need to apply, you usually need a current passport or other valid travel documentation. So you need to make sure that your travel documentation is actually valid and not within its limit to be expiring, because you'll need that in order to travel to the UK. And you would also need a confirmation of acceptance for studies, as I did mention. That's known as a CAS from your course provider. And you might also need to prove that you've got enough money to support yourself, as I mentioned, and pay for your course. But this does vary depending on your circumstances. For some courses, they need a valid ATTIS certificate. So if the course and nationality do require it, then that is something that you will need. And you might also need a TB test from a listed country. So I know countries such as Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, they do require TB tests. And if you have been given a financial sponsorship, you might also need written consent from a financial sponsor to prove that you've been given that financial sponsorship. And if your application is complex, it might take longer for it to be decided, purely because you might need supporting documents to be verified, for example. You might need to attend an interview, or your personal circumstances might be different, such as you might have a criminal conviction. So you might need to explain what's happened there, or the Home Office might want further information about that or further documents. Right. So dependents can also apply to join you, such as partners and children under the age of 18. And in order for them to apply with you on the student visa or at a later date whilst you're in the UK, you would need to make sure that you prove your relationship, such as if you're married, you need your marriage certificate, or if you've been living together, for example, you might need to prove that you've been living together for the last 2 years. Or if it's your child, you need to prove that they're dependent on you and that they are your child, so their birth certificate, for example. And you'll need to prove that you've got enough money to support them. And again, it does vary depending on the actual location. And Simbarashi, you asked if there's any information of researchers such as postgraduates. So I am actually going on to information about postgraduate doctors and dentists. So with postgraduate doctors and dentists, you can apply for this visa if you are sponsored to do so by a recognised foundation program, and if you finished your UK recognised degree in medicine or dentistry, for example, or if you've received that degree from a registered student sponsor, and if you've spent your final year and at least one other year of your studies leading to that degree in the UK. So I hope that that gives you just a small insight on postgraduates, but there is a full list and full guide available, and you can always check that on the government website. So I will pop the link for that below once we finish with the live. So, with the advantages of student visas, the advantages are that you might be able to extend your visa if you are eligible, for example, to continue your studies in the UK, such as the graduate visa or postgraduate visas. You might be able to switch from a student visa from another visa if you are already in the UK. But we do highly recommend that you check the requirements for this. And you might also be able to switch to a graduate visa to stay in the UK for at least 2 years after successfully completing your course. So it's very important that you're already in the UK when you apply for a graduate visa, if you are applying for one. And you must have successfully completed your course. So with graduate visas, you can usually apply if you're in the UK already. If your current visa is a student visa or a tier 4 general student visa, which was what it was previously known as, or if you've studied a UK bachelor's degree, postgraduate degree, or other eligible course for a minimum period of time with your student visa or tier 4 general student visa, and your education provider, such as your university or college, has told the Home Office that you've successfully completed your course. So it is very important that you've successfully completed the course, because the Home Office would need to have told the education provider that you've completed it. So if you are in any doubt, we do recommend that you check that with the Home Office. And the graduate visa, it usually lasts for 2 years. So if you've got a PhD or a doctoral qualification, it can last about 3 years. And the visa will start from the date that your application is actually approved. You would need to pay a £715 health surcharge as well. And the decision time for graduate visas are usually about an 8-week turnaround. Some might be longer due to complexity, as previously explained. So you might have some supporting documents that need to be verified, or it might be because there's some discrepancies in your application that the Home Office might need further information for. So with the actual student visas in itself, is it the right option for you? So in terms of whether it's the right option for you, it's basically whether it depends on what you're looking to do. So you might have to you might have post-study work opportunities, for example, through the new graduate route. So that is something that we definitely do recommend looking into. Or you can actually switch to a skilled worker visa from a student visa whilst you're in the UK. And especially for those jobs that are on the shortage occupation, healthcare and education list. So we do recommend that you do look into that. And I'll just pop the link for you below. This is for those who are already on student visas looking to switch their visa. So what you can do is there is the option, once you're on a student visa, if you have got a approved sponsor that's on the list of sponsors, then you can switch to a skilled worker visa. There is that opportunity, provided that you have been given a certificate of sponsorship. So this applies to, for example, maths and science teachers, carers, psychologists, pharmacists, medical practitioners, nurses, paramedics, social workers, but it's not limited to those. There are many, many jobs on the shortage occupation list. I've just mentioned a few that are on the shortage occupation jobs for healthcare and education only. So we do recommend that you look at the shortage occupation list if you are on a student visa and you're looking to switch. So that can be beneficial for you. And some of you may already know that with skilled workers, what you can do is you can usually settle in the UK after 5 years. of being on the skilled worker route. But if you do require further information about that, you can always check our live videos that we have previously done about skilled workers. So there are many, many opportunities available for you. You just have to look for the one that's actually suitable for you. And the benefit of studying in the UK, I would say, is having studied in the UK myself, is that your degree would be recognised worldwide. So whether you choose to stay in the UK and use that to your advantage by finding postgraduate opportunities or by switching to a skilled worker visa, you can always utilize that degree, or whether you choose to go back, for example, or choose to migrate to a different country, this degree will be recognized. So we do recommend that you do take advantage of the opportunities that have been given to you, if you are looking to come to the UK as a student. That is the end of my live today. But if anybody does have any questions, feel free to ask. I can stick around for a bit if anybody does have any questions. If not, you can always email us. You can always visit our websites. So I'll just pop the link to our email below again, just in case if you do want to email us for any inquiries. So that's info@tulia.org.uk. Alternatively, what you can do is you can visit our website, which is www.tulia.org.uk. So that's the link to our email. And we've also got our website, which is www.tulia.org.uk, and I've provided the link for you below. So with student visas, a lot of students are looking to come over, especially with the September and October intakes just around the corner. I do know that some universities have January intakes, some have May intakes. So it just does depend on the university that you are looking to study at. But the one piece of the one suggestion that I would give to you is that you make sure that the course is by a licensed student sponsor. So basically, it must be valid in order for you to apply. And before you apply, just make sure that you've got all of the documents ready. And if you are in any doubt, do seek advice, just to limit the chances of a refusal, as I previously explained. But if you do have any inquiries, again, feel free to contact us. We are here and happy to help. And that's the end of our live today. So thank you very much, everybody, and have a lovely day. Bye.